Am I am I inside an IMAX screen? Is it this big? I've never been this big. I'm Renny Harlin. I'm the director of Cliffhanger, and I want to say hello to the wonderful audience of the Hidden Worlds Film Festival in Bristol. Thank you for coming to this very special 30-year anniversary screening of Cliffhanger, a movie I made a long time ago, but I have very fond memories of. So I hope you sit back and enjoy and have an absolutely great time watching this movie. And I want to tell you just a little bit. Don't let me talk too much, because when I get excited, I just could talk forever. But Cliffhanger was a challenging movie. Remember that this movie was made before CG, all that visual effects stuff was invented. Remember that this was done when everything basically had to be shot for real. And so we went to the Dolomites in Italy to shoot the movie in the real mountains. And first thing that happened after I had found the locations there, Stallone arrived for the first time, and he looked at the mountains like this. He's like, "Yeah, Renny, so who's gonna go up to the mountains to really actually be in the movie?" I said, "You, Sly, you're the star of the movie." "But I have a fear of heights. The highest I'll ever go is the heels of my cowboy boots." I said, "Sly, I'm not gonna shoot a stuntman and then cut to your close-up on a sofa in the hotel lobby. This is for real." And I put him in a helicopter with me. We flew to the top of the mountain. We were at over 8,000 feet, so about 2.5 kilometers. Most of the movie was shot between 2.5 kilometers to 3.5 kilometers height. So from about 8,000 feet to 12, 13,000 feet. And air gets pretty thin there, I can tell you that. Anyhow, I had set up everything. This is the opening scene of the movie, which you're gonna see in a few minutes, where there are two mountain peaks, there's a wire between them, and there's a rescue effort going on that wire. And we flew with the helicopter to the little bigger peak, which was about the size of a big tennis court. And so we I'm gonna shoot myself a little bit here, if that's okay. Hopefully I'm still in the shot. And we went to this peak with the helicopter, and I had the stunt people there ready and waiting for us. So we land on this mountain peak. He steps out of the helicopter. He's like, oh my god, we're high up. What's gonna happen here?" And I had the stuntmen ready so that they put this harness on me quickly, just this simple waist harness. I stepped to the edge of the mountain peak. They clicked my feather from the harness into the wire that was going on between the two peaks, and I stepped backwards off the thing and just fell, and automatically slid halfway down the wire to the midpoint, just singing my heart out, only hanging from that one wire from my waist into the cable. And the stunt guys were there, and Sly was there, and they were just looking at me. Well, the stunt guys knew that I was going to do that, but Sly was like, "What the hell?" And I said, "Hey, Sly, if I can do this, you can do this. You want to try?" And here's a guy who didn't even want to think about going anywhere on these mountaintops. I was like, "Well, sure, doesn't look so difficult." Because I knew that Sly was a macho guy, and there's no way he's going to let the director do it, and in front of all these burly stunt guys say that he won't do it. So we put Sly in a harness, we put there, it was all safe. But it's scary when you hang on that wire and you look down 2 kilometers to the bottom, and there's only this thin wire separating you from this wonderful life and not so wonderful death. But that's how I got him over his fear, and he realized it was safe, it was fun, it was incredible, and rest was history. Sly got even so ballsy in the shooting that sometimes we had to protect himself from himself, because he would do anything. And it really was an amazing shoot, as you will see now. I know many of you have seen the movie before, some of you haven't seen the movie before, but you'll see that we did some crazy stunt work there, and there are sequences that had been never attempted before, and the challenges of the shoot were so many. First of all, to get to these mountain peaks, there was no other way but helicopters. So we had 6 helicopters. It was like a scene from Apocalypse Now. All you needed was da 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 da, because every morning 6 helicopters took off, full of crew and cast and equipment, flew to the mountain peaks, then went back to get more people, more equipment, and this is how we shot the movie. There were few locations, just few locations where we could get with ski lifts or gondolas or something else, but this is how it was. And when you're shooting at 2.5, 3 kilometers height, you are basically in the sky, and the view is unbelievable. You just see over the Alps for eternity. And the challenge is that it could be like this, a beautiful, beautiful blue skied sunny day, and in 15 minutes you are in a snowstorm, because you are above the clouds, and the clouds, if they move in, you're just inside the cloud and your visibility is 0. So we had security people on various mountaintops with radios, with walkie-talkies, and they were guarding the weather, watching where the clouds were moving and what was going on. And they would send us a warning and say, guys, you have 15 minutes to get out of there. And we had to pack, first, of course, the stars, then the director, and then the rest of the crew, pack everybody in the helicopters and get the hell out of there. Because with a helicopter, the only way you can fly, especially in mountain conditions, is you always have to remain the contact with Earth, Mother Earth. You have to see the ground, because there's no way you know where you are if you don't see the ground. So you had to, within that 15-minute window, you had to pack the helicopters, take off, fly into the valley and land in the valley safely, and then go and get more people. If you take off too late and the clouds move in and you lose your contact with the ground, there's no equipment you can use. There's no some magical radar or something that's going to tell you where the mountains are and where the ground is and so on. So that's how accidents happen. Plus the valleys here were full of cables for various cable cars and ski lifts and things. So it was an incredibly dangerous area to shoot. But that's why I still think this is the best looking mountain movie ever made, if I may say so. You can decide for yourself after you've seen the opening sequence. And there were no drones in those days, so everything had to be shot with real helicopters. So every one of the shots that you see in the movie, that was shot from the helicopter. It's a real helicopter, there's a camera system in the helicopter, and I'm in the helicopter shooting with the cameraman. So every shot you see now, right now, in the opening shot of the helicopters traveling past those beautiful mountains, I'm shooting it from the camera helicopter. And imagine that feeling of seeing that happen, and then imagine the feeling of creating the music for the movie. Trevor Jones did the score, incredible English composer. I flew from LA. I sat at night in his living room by his grand piano, and he would just play themes for me. I said, I don't need a big orchestra to understand the theme, just play the piano. And he would go like, ding, 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 ding. I'm like, Trevor, that's it, that's the theme. And then when it was recorded by the London Symphony Orchestra in London, I was in tears. I was in tears listening to 90 people playing their hearts out. And you will hear this theme in just a few minutes as the movie opens, and you judge. To me, it's one of the most beautiful themes I've ever heard, and I just love it so much. And that's not to keep you here for hours. My stories could go forever. But, there are sequences. We went, with one of them, we went to the Guinness Book of Records. There's a sequence where a guy goes on a wire from one plane to another. It was so dangerous that we couldn't get the permits to shoot it in Italy. So we shot it in Colorado. That's the only sequence that is actually shot in Colorado, where the guy, his name was Simon Crane. He's now a big-time stunt coordinator, but he was just starting his career at that point. And he slides from plane to plane, and we had 5 planes shooting that sequence, and I was in a jet with 2 cameras in it, right next to it, and it was scary. We were very close to a very dangerous accident during that sequence. But when you do these things, you have to trust the professionals that you're working with, the stunt people, the special effects people, the pilots. You tell them your dream, and you ask, how do we achieve this safely? so that nobody gets hurt. And nobody got hurt during the shooting of the movie ever. Nobody fell, nobody broke a leg, everything went safely and everything went perfectly, except for the weather. Because of the weather, we did go over schedule because there were maybe more days where we had to leave the mountain peak in the middle of the day than days when we could shoot the whole day. That was the nature of the beast, and we had a fantastic time. It just galvanized the crew and the cast working in those conditions, and it was freezing cold. And when you got to those peaks where nobody had been before, there no human being had been to those peaks before, and you step out of the helicopter and you're down to your waist in the snow, and then you have to get the equipment. I had 3 techno cranes there. I had 8 cameras and wind machines and everything else. You get it there, and you shoot it, and you have to move around in the snow. One thing I have to also tell you, like, people probably don't think about this. You know, when you rehearse a scene, and you set your camera, you set your actors, and okay, the bad guys are coming over there, the heroes are coming from here, then you do this. If you rehearse it in this virgin snow, there's footprints there. So we had an army of people whose only job was to fix the snow. They were the snow sweepers. So think about all these challenges when you're watching the movie and you're watching those pristine peaks that look like there's never ever been anybody there except the characters in the movie. And look at the shots we made. It's all done for real. Then we did some studio shooting at the Cinecittà in Rome, where we did some interiors, and we did the plane crash, and we did some tight footage for the climbing sequences. But last thing I'll tell you, the opening scene was done for real. Everybody said, "Well, let's cast a stunt girl, and then we have an actor for close-ups." I said, "No, I want an actor to do this sequence." Again, not to endanger an actor, but the stunt guys told me, the climbing expert told me, it's safe. It's okay to do it. It's frightening, but it's safe. So I went through not literally million, but hundreds of actors, until Michelle Joyner walked into my office and did the scene where she's hanging from the cable, the opening scene of the movie, and she's pleading for her life from Sly's character, and says, "Please, Cape, don't let me die, don't let me die. Sarah, you're not gonna die. Hold on to my hand. Sarah, you're not gonna die." Well, you watch the movie, you see what happens. But when Michelle did the audition in my office, and Sly was standing on a chair, and Michelle was lying on the floor, and they were holding hands, everybody was in tears. Michelle was so good. Everybody was in tears. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to shoot this scene for real in the Dolomites, in between these high mountain peaks, and it's going to be incredible. And my cautionary tale is that maybe the opening was even too good, because I feel like nothing in the movie could be better than the opening. And this is not because I'm bragging about my own movie, but that's how I felt. It was so effective in those days, this opening scene, that what else can we do? We can blow up planes and do all this destruction and fights and action, but is it really going to ever be as tense and emotionally satisfying as the opening? I don't know. So think about it when you make your movie. Make a great opening, but don't make it so great that you don't know how to top it anymore later on. So it's been great talking to you guys. Am I really on an IMAX screen? Oh my God, it's so big. I've never been this big. No lighting involved, no crew involved. My wife was shooting me here first, but then our 9-month-old baby girl Coco started getting a little active. So I'm gonna show them here. I'm gonna show you. Here's my wonderful wife Johanna and Coco. Hey Coco.
Hello.
Hey Coco.
Enjoy the festival. Enjoy Cliffhanger. You can, Coco, say hello.
Coco.
Hello.
Hello. That's my family, and I happen to be not in Rome, but on the set that looks like Rome. I'm not shooting a movie here at the moment. I'm finishing another movie of mine coming out later this year called The Bricklayer, starring Aaron Eckhart and Nina Dobrev. It's going to be a great spy action movie. So, but I'm not here to advertise that. I am so thankful that you are here today at the Forbidden Worlds amazing film festival. Thank you for the organizers for finding me and getting me to do this video, because I'm so happy I could talk to you about the movie. It was the experience of my lifetime. I'll never forget it. I love this movie. I hope you do too. Have a great time. See you at the movies.